is the chairman of the board of MetLife, Inc. and Dean Emeritus of the Columbia Graduate School of Business. He graduated summa cum laude from UCF in 1979 before earning his master's and PhD from Harvard. He served as chairman of the U.S. Council of Economic Advisors under President George W. Bush. Great job, Dr. Hubbard. All right, and Dean Jarley, would you like to come up?
Thanks for joining us tonight, Glenn.
It's my pleasure, and at least I don't have to wear the hat.
Yeah, well, sometimes you got to do what your staff tells you to do, right? So you've been a great friend of the college for a very long time. I think when we were talking yesterday, it was 48 years ago?
47
years ago that you graduated from the college. Why do you keep coming back? You've been a great friend of ours.
Well, it's really easy. It's about gratitude. The years I spent at UCF totally changed my life. The faculty I had in engineering and economics made me what I am today, so it's just gratitude.
So one of the best days I had in the college was the day that Glenn and Constance established a professorship in honor of the two faculty that Glenn thought made the biggest impact on his career. And some of you might remember Ken White and James Zander. I think Jim is in the audience tonight. I don't know if Ken is. But it was, right? I mean, one of the things I always tell students is walk up to any faculty member and ask them one question. Whose student were you? I said, if you do that to a faculty member, they will have a very specific answer, right? To who was the faculty member or two that had the most influence on their lives. And one of the goals that I've had since I've been in the college for 11 years is to have every student have an answer to that question. So could you talk a little bit about the impact that they had on you?
What was very easy for me, both Dr. Zander and Dr. White were instrumental in my training. I mentioned the word gratitude, but I would add to that aptitude and latitude. They really discovered what was in me before I knew it, and they gave me the latitude to do other things. I told a group of students yesterday at UCF, you're making a huge mistake if you go to a faculty member and ask for help with a problem set. Go to a faculty member and ask how to think. I did that with those two guys, and it changed my life.
Yeah, that's great, right? That's a good day for everybody when that occurs. So a few months ago, I think it was before Christmas, I was in New York having dinner with Glenn and Constance, and Glenn mentioned to me that someone that day had called him a pip. And so I want you to tell everybody about what a pip is, and then I want you to give some advice to students on how not to be one.
Well, I hope I'm not one, but the first time I went on a corporate board, somebody explained to me, you're here because you're a pip. I said, what's a pip? You're a previously important person because you had done something. And I said, well, at the time, I was like in my mid-40s. Like, I'm previously? This doesn't sound good. I completely changed the research I did, the teaching I did, what I did, largely from the impetus I got from UCF. But you never have to be a pip. I hope I'm not one.
Well, I have to admit, Glenn, I hope someday I'm a pip. But okay. Be that it is amazing. So I can't have you up here without having you comment on the U.S. economy and what's been going on. So what do you think?
Well, you know, economists, we're not called the dismal science for nothing, so I could sit here and be very dour, but I won't. First of all, it's dinner, and second, it's not who I am. We're living on the precipice of the greatest opportunity I've ever seen. If you're a student in this audience, we are on the edge of a productivity boom. You talked about ChatGPT. There are a lot of general purpose technologies behind this. So these are good times. You can read headlines about Silicon Valley Bank, about other things, but don't lose track of that opportunity, and don't lose time of that with UCF.
Yeah, that's really great advice. So I want to thank you for all of the generosity and the time. Glenn has spent the last couple of days with us. The one thing I would say to students that's most amazing about Glenn, it's honestly not his titles, it's not his awards, but anytime I ask Glenn a question by email or text, he gets to me an answer in 5 minutes.
Might have been ChatGPT.
It might have been. It might have been. But it's the most amazing thing that I've ever seen. That's how generous he's been. And I'm going to ask Constance to come up because Glenn and Constance have decided to be generous again. I am pleased to announce another $1 million gift from the Hubbards and Constance for UCF. And I could have President Cartwright come up as well so that we can thank everybody for this. Constance, it's great to see you. Glenn and Constance, we can't thank you enough.
No,
for
we're
the
only doing it.
support.
We're only paying a debt.
So another round of applause, if we could, for Glenn
Thank
and
you.
Constance.